Amazing. So today I'm going to be talking about how you can turn rejection into a yes. And how I personally did this to land my dream job. When I tell people I'm a journalist, there's usually one of two reactions. Either they think it's really cool and they're really excited, or they think I'll spill all their secrets and they don't want to talk to me ever again. As a journalist, I get to write about a lot of different things. So I get to write about markets, the economy. I've covered basketball games, including the Women's World Cup, which was held in Sydney. And sometimes I get to review concerts, and I even wrote about how Taylor Swift might impact inflation in our economy. Now, a lot of you guys probably aren't interested in journalism at all, but I hope that some of these examples and the practical advice that I give you might be able to help you propel yourself to your dream career. So I'll be talking about three things. Firstly, the importance of mentoring. Secondly, the fact that you should always do more than you're asked to do and more than you're expected to do. And thirdly, the importance of just asking. And the third one is something that can change your life in a really short period of time. I'll tell you how it changed mine in 15 seconds shortly. But firstly, I wanted to talk about mentors. So the very first mentor that I ever had, I wasn't actually looking for a mentor at the time. I didn't know I wanted to do journalism, and I didn't really have any direction in terms of what I wanted to do either. So the way that I met her was she was one of my neighbours, and she was looking for someone to walk her dog. Her dog's name was Lily. And of course I said yes, because who doesn't want to walk a little Jack Russell? So every day I'd go over to her house for a few weeks and I would walk her dog and we'd have a chat afterwards over some tea, and she'd tell me about her life. And it took me a while actually to find out that she was actually an award-winning journalist, and she'd taken out the top award in journalism in Australia. And you would never know because she was so humble and understated about it. But she was really important to me because she would tell me about her career path, some of the challenges that she faced, some of the rewards of journalism, and eventually she inspired me to go into journalism. So all that is to say that mentors can be found even when you're not looking for them. So it's really important that you're interested in people, you ask questions, and you look to learn as much as you can from the people around you. So the second mentor is the one that actually helped me refine some of my skill sets in journalism, and this can apply to any job that you're going for. So this mentor was when I was actually really interested in pursuing journalism, and so I reached out to my university, and often you'll find that your colleges and unis have connections to alumni who work in different fields and areas you might be interested in. And they can actually make the introduction for you, which can be really helpful because sometimes it's a bit daunting reaching out to a random person. So this mentor, as you can see here, this is an actual message they sent me. They said, "Are you dead? You're usually messaging me 10 times a day." And obviously that's a bit of an exaggeration. I wasn't actually messaging 10 times a day, but it gives you an idea of how proactively I was reaching out, asking for feedback. And because it was the height of lockdowns, I had so much time on my hands. And so I kind of reached out and sent him articles, and he would give me feedback, and that really helped me to sort of refine my craft. And it's actually one of the reasons why I managed to land an internship at this little business publication. And a year later, he actually told me the reason why I got it was because I was so proactive with what I was doing. He could tell that I was really interested and engaged. So it's not just who you know, but what you know, and it's what they know about you. Because you want to make a really good impression with your mentors and also the people around you, and show them that you are really interested and you're the one who should get the job. And so that was my first article that ever got published. Obviously very important, heavy stuff. It's about chili sauce, but it shows you, I guess, a little milestone that I achieved through mentoring. The second thing is just ask. So you've probably heard the phrase that you don't get what you don't ask for. And this is true whether it's in terms of getting information for a job you're looking to get, or even finding a job. So the job that I have now as a journalist with the Sydney Morning Herald, which is one of Australia's major papers, is one that I got because I was rejected for another job. And I reached out to the recruiter and I said, "Can I have some feedback or advice?" And they said, "Yeah, sure thing. Here's some advice. Here are some different programs and internships that are available for you to apply to." And I actually probably wouldn't have got, or wouldn't have known that these internships existed or that these jobs existed if I hadn't reached out and got that information. So always ask for feedback, whether that's at school for an assignment, or when you're looking for work, and even after you've reached your goal. It's really important because you always learn from it, and it shows that you're willing to learn as well, which is something that a lot of employers look for and a lot of people will look for generally in the workforce. And it could open doors as well. So 15 seconds actually changed everything for me. I applied to the Sydney Morning Herald for a traineeship, and they only had about 5 positions throughout the entire country. And I actually wasn't really well placed to get this job because I didn't study journalism, I did English and economics, but I didn't have the same experience as everyone. I hadn't written for a major paper before. So I was actually behind a lot of the students who were applying, or a lot of the graduates who were applying. But I applied anyway. I said, here's my CV, here's my resume. And then I heard back about a couple of weeks later, and as you can see, they said, thanks for applying, but we got a lot of applications, and so you're not progressing. And I said, okay, well, that's a bit disappointing. And I remember when I heard the news, I was at my job, and I was on my lunch break, and I thought, oh, well, I don't have much time, but I'll just send a quick email. And I didn't think much of it. I just said, thanks for, letting me know, would I be able to request some feedback? And then I didn't think too much of it, and it is important to, I guess, move on when you've been rejected from a job. Has anyone here been rejected from a job, or rejected from a program, or failed an assignment? A fair few of us. So the important thing here is a lot of people stop there, right? They say, okay, I've been rejected, I better stop applying. I've been rejected, I'll apply for a new job. So the key thing here is to ask for feedback. And when I ask for feedback, the best thing that can happen usually is that they'll give you feedback, right? And you can learn from that. And when you're applying for your next job, whether that's in your or the same position a year later, or it's another job, it helps you learn a bit about yourself and how you can better market yourself. In this case, I actually got a call back from the managing editor, who was the one doing the recruiting, about a week later after I sent this email. And she said, hey Millie, we actually really like that you asked for feedback, and someone's dropped out of the next round of interviews. So if you want, you can, I guess, continue with the process. And so I said, of course, I'd love to. And I thought, okay, well, I need to be able to nail this process. So the next stage was an interview, and I thought, okay, how do I differentiate myself from all these people who have so much more experience than me, who know a lot more about me? And so what I did was I reached out on LinkedIn, which if you guys don't have, it's a really great platform for your professional life. And I reached out to someone who worked there as a reporter, and I said, thanks for connecting. And in this case, I highlighted some of the similarities I had with this person, which is something that can help you build a bit of rapport if you don't know this person at all. But even saying the second part, so I'm a graduate from this college or this high school, and I want to enter the field that you're in or the job that you're in, and I'd just like to learn a little bit about it. A lot of the time, people will ghost you, and that's not very fun because you send a message, they don't reply, but out of the 10 people that you reach out to, at least one of them will respond to you. And so it's really important that you keep trying, keep reaching out to new people, and eventually someone will be willing to help. And so look for and be that 10%. So once you have reached a certain level of success, be that 10% that helps out other people as well when they're asking for advice. And so eventually I landed the role, I got the traineeship, and getting that information was really useful. So with the interview information, they told me, if you're doing an interview for the gig, just make sure you cross these issues. And there were actually things that they asked me in the interview. So on the day, I brought up all these news articles I'd read about because I knew that was something that they were looking for. So that can help you land your dream job. And then finally, do more than what's required of you. So do more than, I guess, you're asked and more than you're expected to do. So the basics are do what you'll say you'll do. So always meet those expectations, make sure you're getting things in on time, jump in when someone needs help. So offer to do more as well. And just be nice. That's something that's probably a little bit underrated, but it's something that a lot of recruiters and employers have told me before, is they just look for nice people. So make sure you get along with everyone, that you're friendly and positive as well. And then once you've got that, offer to do a little bit more than you're expected to do. So you might say, okay, I have some extra capacity. Is there anything I can help out with on this project or this article or whatever you're working on? And the last thing is to undersell and over-deliver. So make sure that you do more than what's required. So once you do have like an extra thing that you need to work on, work extra hard, put in the extra hours, and it'll pay off. Because the thing is, people notice. You might not think anyone notices, but then often there are people around you who are working with you. It might not even be your boss, but your colleagues who notice. And because of that, in this case, one of my colleagues said they put me forward for this opportunity to write an opinion piece, which is something in journalism, it's something that I guess you only really get usually 10 to 20 years into your career when you know a little bit about what you're talking about. But they said because you're working hard and you obviously were really interested in this, putting in the extra work, we thought you could live up to the challenge. So this is an opinion piece that I wrote, and they did a little cartoon for me as well. For those of you who are not Australian, that is our treasurer, Jim Chalmers, and that is me in the bed. So it's a bit of a strange picture, but it was a fun little opinion piece that I wrote. And from that, I've been able to write opinion pieces every fortnight. So just put in the extra work and you'll see a lot of success. And I guess the message I want to leave you with is that you learn more from failure than from success. And that's something my debate teacher would always used to tell us when we lost our debates. She'd say you learn a lot more from failing than success. Because when you think about it, when you succeed, how many times do you look back and think, oh, I should have done this better, I made this mistake? Whereas when you fail, you think, okay, here are some things that I can learn, and here are some things that I can do better moving forward. And I'm not going to tell you not to be scared of failure, because I think it's totally natural for you to be scared. No one wants to be rejected or to fail at what they're doing. The important thing is be afraid of failing and do the thing anyway, and fail anyway to learn. Be afraid of sounding dumb and ask anyway. And be afraid of getting ghosted or rejected and give it a try anyway. Every time you fail or you learn, you get one step closer to success. So hopefully you can take something away from that.